We would like to share with you some facts about haze. In this video, we will introduce you why different regions have different effects of haze and effects of haze. Analyze the API Air Pollution Index for each state in Malaysia and Indonesia. Here is the analysis of air pollution index of each state from Malaysia and Indonesia. We are taking the index for Malaysia on 25th of September at 5 p.m. and Indonesia we are taking 30th of September at 5 p.m. As the table shown, we can see that in Malaysia the most unhealthy state in Perak, Wilayah Persekutuan, Putrajaya, Negeri Sembilan, and Pahang. For Indonesia, the most unhealthy state is Jakarta, Jambi, and Kalimantan. Why different region has different effect of haze? Different region has different effect of haze are peat combustion, El Nino phenomenon, agriculture activities, and chemical properties of rainwater. For the first point, peat combustion. According to Harrison et al. 2009, the main cause of peatland fires in Southeast Asia was illegal land clearing activity with the use of fire. Often the fire will become out of control and then spread to large areas. Degraded peatlands are known to be susceptible to fire. According to Yusuf et al., high organic matter in peatland as either decomposed material or material continuing to decompose as a factor that makes peatland prone to fire. The next one is El Nino phenomenon. According to Malaysia Environment Department report, the year's El Nino warm ocean pattern has contributed to the increase in forest fire hotspot to its highest level in 4 years. The forest fires raging on the Indonesian island of Sumatra and province of Kalimantan on Borneo Island in recent weeks have prompted the Indonesian government to deploy 9,000 personnel to help to stop the fire. For the next point is agriculture activities. Slash and burn is a common agricultural practice in several countries in Southeast Asia and can be described as a cheap land clearing technique for agricultural development purposes that has been used traditionally. According to Saharjo Munesh, the plantation process includes the logging of natural forests, especially peatland areas, which opens the canopy of forests and dries out the ground cover. Peatland that has experienced drainage as a result of conversion into plantations can very easily be affected by fire, especially during the dry season. For the last point is the chemical properties of rainwater. The concentrations of pollutant material usually influences the compositions of rainwater. During the haze episode in 2005, the inorganic compositions of rainwater measured in Petaling Jaya and Malacca, Malaysia by Narela, was dominated by nitrate, sulfate, and ammonium at both sites. The study also revealed that rainwater pH values for both Petaling Jaya and Malacca were recorded below the pH values of normal rainwater, indicating the contributions of haze to the acidity of the rainwater. Higher concentrations of the nitrate and sulfate influence the increase of the acidity of rainwater. Next, we would like to describe the reasons and the externalities due to the haze. Almost every year, smoky haze will blanket the Southeast Asian regions such as Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia. These are the photos of Malaysia and Indonesia during the haze season. Reasons is burning of forests in Indonesia. According to Indonesia's Natural Disaster Agency, there were 328,724 hectares of land were burnt from January to August alone, and there were more than 3,600 fires were detected on Sumatra and Borneo Island. The burning usually peaks from July to October, which is during Indonesia's dry season. The most affected regions are Central, West and South Kalimantan, Riau, Jambi and South Sumatra. It is because of the many farmers will take advantage to clear vegetation for palm oil, pulp and paper plantations by using slash and burn method. They often spin out of control and even spread into protected forested stage areas. Next, the second reason is the increasing of hotspots areas in ASEAN. According to ASEAN Meteorological Center, there were 17 hotspots detected in Malaysia and 1,393 hotspots detected in Indonesia. Haze become worse as hotspots rise. Singapore-based center reported that smoke from the hotspots area, which has routed in moderate to dense to haze, has been prevailing winds to Singapore and Malaysia. Now it's about externalities due to haze. The haze issue has affected our daily life and panicked the people. The most reality example is in many schools closed during the worsening of haze. Here shows one of the news from News Straits Times mentioned that a worsening haze situation has forced 671 schools involved 445,249 students in several haze-affected states to be closed on 17 September this year. Next, haze issue has affected economy of related countries such as tourism industry, aviation industry and others. Besides, work activities are forced to stop and outdoor activities are not available. People need to do some protections such as wear masks, drinking more water when they have to do some outdoor activities. One of the BBC News shows that Indonesia haze caused the sky to turn blood red due to the widespread forest fire which have plagued huge part of the country. Problem also existed. The CNA News reported that statistics show more people fall sick as haze worsened in Malaysia. A spike in the number of patients seeking treatment for respiratory infection and eye-related illness due to the haze. Proposed policy explanations and solutions from the perspective of people and planet. For the implication part, a possible implication could be the government has to ensure that the customer and the suppliers are able to do informed decisions about the products the purchasing. For example, this could be done with a certification label. This label will inform the buyer about the products are produced in line with certain standards and that the producers are not breaking any environmental laws. The second point will be the politicians have to decide an environmental liability law in Asia, so every company has to be responsible what they are doing in all aspects. This needs a strong engagement of the government, especially of Malaysia and Singapore. Solution. Laws must be changed and strengthened. The outgoing president of Indonesia has a chance to firmly establish his green legacy before it goes up in smoke. Companies must end their role in peat and forest destruction. Companies operating in risky areas like Sumatra need to recognize there is a problem and then choose to be part of the solution. Last, to respect emissions reduction target and keep air quality. Agricultural practices must minimize fire occurrence in the land use types either through regulatory, incentive-based, and technological mechanisms.